Star Wars Black Series will never make any of these figures. Welcome back, guys, it's Thomas, and I wanted to do this video in May, but I ran out of time, so I'm going to start June off by doing this video. While I had all my Star Wars characters out, I wanted to do a video in particular about the Max Rebo band. Now, these were always some of my favorite figures, and part of the reason why I never got into collecting Black Series is because I knew that Hasbro would never make almost half of these figures. I don't think they've made any of them. And I looked it up. I couldn't find any Black Series Max Rebo characters, anyone from the band. So I think I'm right as of today that there still are no Black Series members of the Max Rebo band. But most of these figures came out around the time of Power of the Force and then later on in the Star Wars Saga line, and we'll go through that in a little bit. But this is one of my favorite figure sets to have. Over the years, I've added more pieces to it. I've just never opened them. So I have this 2-pack here, and I actually just purchased this figure so I can complete the band. And I think I have mostly everybody. There's a few characters dancing in the background. I don't know if they ever made them, but now I have the complete band. So I figured let's go through the Max Rebo band, check out some of these characters, and check it out. First, let's start off with these three lovely ladies. These came in a Power of the Force 3-pack. I don't know any of their names. I can look it up, but I'm too lazy. But these girls, they came in a 3-pack. At the time, Power of the Force was doing tons of 3-packs. And even as a kid, I wanted these three girls because they completed the scene. So always pretty cool. Backup dancers, backup vocals. They all kind of have the same pre-posed mold. You can kind of see their hips are off to the side and their hands are open wide like that. But these were always pretty cool. And now I had them probably first. I think I had these characters before I had any of the Max Rebo band characters. I didn't get them until much later. But definitely a must in the Star Wars collection for Max Rebo's band. And for those of you that collect vintage series and you got Jabba's Lair, did you have to go back and buy old Power of the Force figures? Because they're never going to make those figures in vintage collection, right? So I assume you're going to have to do that with Jabba's Palace. You're definitely going to have to do that with the Mos Eisley Cantina because they're never going to release half of those characters. So I think the point of this video is also, if you are getting that Cantina in eventually, it's going to come with some characters that you'll never see, that you've never seen made in Power of the Force, but you should probably start going back to those Power of the Force figures and get some of those side characters that let's face it, you're not getting them. Next up, let's start with this guy. His name is Droopy McCool. I'm starting with him because he's probably the only character in the band that I could actually pronounce his name right. Droopy McCool. One of the cool background band characters. Doesn't have any lines. 5 points articulation, pretty much. But he came in a 2-pack with another character, and I'll pull him out in a second. But love the fact that we get this wrinkled up little dude, and he comes with his instrument. What else does he need? But Droopy McCool. So even some nice detail on the face. Kind of looks like I guess is a Shar-Pei? Maybe a Shar-Pei dog. I don't know if that was the inspiration here. And here's where I start butchering names. And this looks like a character that maybe was in the Mos Eisley band, and somehow he quit that band and joined the band in Jabba the Hutt's palace. So this is Barquin Dian, or Dan, however you want to say it. And I think you have gotten him in Black Series. There was the Mos Eisley band, either 4-pack, 5-pack. So at least one of these characters you know you've gotten before, and he comes with his instrument just like Droopy McCool. So another fine addition to the Max Rebo band. Next up, for my name butchering, we have what looks like a species of the Greedo variety, whatever species of alien Greedo was. They look like they could either be husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, brother and sister, not sure, but they're definitely the same species. This guy's a little darker green, and his name is Dota Bondonavido. And I could have completely said that wrong. But again, another band member giving us these 2-packs back in 98, maybe 97, 98. Really cool to have him. He comes with his instrument. Now, some of these figures are so old, when they came in the package, they had rubber bands around their arms. That one's kind of, You can kind of see a little piece of the rubber band on his hand. Now here's a 2-pack that I picked up at a con a couple years back, and Max Rebo band pairs. So this is when they started releasing a few of the characters in 3-packs. I think there was 3-packs altogether. Retailed for $11.76 at Walmart. And I'm embarrassed to say this is what I spent for it at a con. When I'm at a con and I haven't found anything that I really want to buy, sometimes I make stupid decisions. This was probably stupid. I've kept it in the pack ever since, but now I'm going to open it. But you can see on the back the cross sell, and that's how I was reading off the other names, because I forgot their names long before. These two came in a 2-pack together, and then Dota came in a 2-pack with Max Rebo. We'll show him off soon. But do you guys remember these? This is, Star Wars fans have been pissed off at least since 96, 97. Because when George Lucas put in a whole bunch of extra effects into the movies, the CG characters, people lost their mind that they ruined the trilogy. Who cares? It's just more content. You can watch the original versions. But yeah, I remember people really losing their ever-loving mind when they released all these special effects inside the trilogy. So I thought it was cool. Whatever. It's just, they're inconsequential scenes. Nothing really matters. But we're going to go ahead and open these guys real quick. All right, and here we go. We have Joe Yowza and Cy Snoodles. At least those are easy to say. Now, would you want to see these figures in Black Series? I feel like if you are collecting that line, like you have to be starving for characters that you're never going to get. So at least if you're collecting Vintage Series, you can still go back and have fun with some of these older characters. But I really wouldn't hold your breath for them to release them. But Joe Wowza, I remember he was cool. He had a pretty fun scene in Return of the Jedi. He had a close-up in the camera where his mouth's open. So some of the first CGI, which I think that's why it's cool, because they at least tried to add some of this stuff in. It didn't affect the story or anything like that. But little fuzzy character, really just 5 points of articulation. His head moves a little bit, but he's kind of Muppet looking. Kind of reminds me of Alf, if Alf was in Star Wars, but his little tail on the back. Kind of hard to stand up, but not too bad. And then Cy Snoodles, she's cool. I remember she being gross on camera, but I love all this blue spot deco that they gave her. And she's 5 points of articulation because she has a little waist swivel there. But at least now we can complete the band with some of the singers. Next up we have Rappertoonie, and I just picked up this figure for like 25 bucks, so he wasn't really that bad. But it looks like whoever I bought it from was keeping it in pristine condition, which was pretty much all for naught because I'm going to tear it out of its package now. This is a figure that I had to hunt down because I thought I had the band complete, but I was missing him. But this was the Saga series, I think, because pretty much everything in Attack of the Clones got released in this box. And then it pretty much said what movie it was from on the side. So it says Return of the Jedi here. And just looking at some of the characters that come on the back, you get a lot of Return of the Jedi figures from this line, which was really cool. So the holographic Luke, like the R2-D2 projects in Jabba's palace, R2 with the drinks on him, Boba blasting out. I thought that was cool for the pit. And then you had all these other monster characters. I think I have that Lando in that outfit. So enough of that. I'm gonna go rip this guy out. I feel bad, it's a nice package, but I want to see what the band looks like all together. Now this character is awesome. I love his little squat body, really cool. You can definitely tell where the puppeteer had his hand up there, but really awesome. And he comes with his little base, which I think is neat, so you can just kind of sit him on there. And then he does come, I don't know if you'd call it a flute, but it's some sort of instrument that he holds with 2 hands. So I think this plugs in to the back there, right here. Just plug that in. And once you got that plugged in, you can just sit him on there. Let's get that instrument in here. Now his arms are all kind of wretched in a weird way, but get that one in that hand, and then that in that hand. And now he's ready. He's ready to sing some tunes or blow some tunes, whatever you want to call it. So this was the missing link for me because he was the last one I had. But of course, there's one figure that I haven't gone over yet. And that, of course, is Max Rebo. I love this figure. This is in my top 3 all-time favorite Star Wars figures. Not characters, but figures. Boba Fett's one. Always classic. Boba Fett was one of my favorite figures. Eth Koth from Attack of the Clones. He's a close second. And then Max Rebo. So those are my top 3 Star Wars figures ever made. And I think this one is, what I've learned recently is he's pretty inaccurate because these aren't supposed to be feet. I guess he's supposed to have another set of hands. So even though it's inaccurate, I still like it. No movement at the waist, just a standard 5 POA. But he comes with this awesome keyboard. I always thought it was cool. These push down, you know, they don't make any noises, but just a really cool base to put him in. I always know it goes to him. Who else would it go to? But the leader of the band, the namesake. So now I have the complete band. Let's check them all out. Get all these figures together. And here it is, folks. The whole Max Rebo band together. I'm probably missing some people dancing in the background. I don't know if they made figures of everybody. But if I was collecting vintage series, I would be going back and buying all these characters that we know Hasbro will never, ever make. And most of these characters you will never see again. Mark my words. If you happen to see them, you can come back to this video and tell me I was wrong. But it's just really fun to go back and every now and then piece together these so-called teams, if you will, and kind of complete the collection. So I'm not going to do any more Star Wars videos. I was just having fun the month of May, opening up boxes and looking through my old stuff. But this is a really cool thing to complete, especially with Rappertoonie, however you say it. But just really happy to have the band complete. So what do you think? Will the vintage collection ever make these figures? I think not. And thanks for checking this one out, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, hit like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Really appreciate it. And until the next episode, we'll catch you next time.